Hello, my name is Ashley Yeomans and I am leading the ski trip at Easter 2024 for students in Year 10, Year 11, Year 12 and Year 13. I think this is the 11th ski trip that I have run since being at Sawtry Village Academy, and it is one of the best weeks of the year. I absolutely love it, and that's why I keep on doing it year after year. The students get so much out of it, from learning new skills to adventuring different environments. It really is a trip that students will remember forever, and I'm really pleased that we have so many students on it this year. This presentation used to be done in person, but there were often issues where we had to then send it on and record it anyway. So now we just record the presentation, send it out, and if you have any questions, then please drop me an email at the end. My email address is on the last slide of this PowerPoint. So the presentation essentially is to share lots of information, hopefully lots of information that you already know, and again remind you of the kit list, so what students will need to bring on the ski trip. Again, any more questions at the end, please send them on. So the most important part of this presentation is, when are we going? We really do need to know that. I'm sure you know it already, but we are going on the 30th of March, which is a Saturday. Please bear in mind, on the Friday, the 29th of March, that is Good Friday. So students will not be in school on the Friday. So they will break up on the Thursday, have Friday at home, and then as with hopefully most of their families, because it is a national bank holiday. And then on the Saturday, we'll be meeting roughly at 12 p.m. outside of Sawtry Village Academy. The coaches will be parked up where the buses normally park, and we'll aim to leave around 12 o'clock. Now that may well change. I've not been sent the final itinerary yet, but we often leave around about midday. It might be just after midday, but when I know that, I will let students aware, and I will also send out a letter about 10 days before we leave with the exact itinerary details. So hopefully the information will come through quicker, but the final letter will go out about a week, 10 days before we actually leave. We will be returning a whole week later on Saturday, the 6th of April, and again that's approximately early afternoon, but that can change depending on the journey home, if we get the right ferry, if we're late, if there's traffic on the M25, and we'll often update students for what time we are going to be back home, so they can update you via their mobile phones, and we will have mobile phones as well on the trip, to be able to contact in case theirs runs out of battery, or in case they don't have a phone. The exact times will be sent out. So there are 40 students on this trip. They are all within Year 10, Year 11, Year 12 and Year 13. 5 members of staff, so there's myself, Mr. Hart is also helping me lead it, Mrs. Gilbert, Mr. Clark and Mrs. Campbell. So 5 members of staff, so a good ratio there. Two of us are qualified first aiders, and 4 of us are EpiPen trained. Lots of the staff that are going have been skiing before and been on the school ski trip as well, so they're well experienced and will be able to support the students really well in their week skiing. So the journey, I say this is a big part of the trip, because it is a big part of the trip, and it's definitely something that we should not be worried about. Hopefully we can enjoy it. It's very much part of the experience, travelling through lots of different countries to get to our final destination of Italy. Students will all go on the same coach with the teachers. The coach is an executive style coach, so a bit of extra legroom, televisions, there's a toilet on board, there's normally charges for phones and things like that, and they are going to be on that coach for quite a period of time. That coach will stay with us throughout the week on the ski trip as well, taking us to the mountains and back each day from our hotel. We'll be leaving from Sawtry, heading to Dover. At Dover we get the ferry, that's roughly early evening ferry, And then from Calais, the other side of Dover, it's around about 13 hours drive overnight to the resort in Italy. That's 13 hours with stops, so it's a little bit less than that, but we'll be stopping every 3 hours or so for at least a 15-minute break, but there'll be somewhere we stop for a whole hour break and have some food. But it's very much part of the journey. We watch some DVDs on the way. Students can bring with them, if they want to, their Nintendo Switches or iPads or whatever they want to make themselves comfortable and to make their journey as best it possibly can be. The coach is fully compliant with EU regulations. There are 2 drives on board that will share the driving time to make sure that they are within their quota. Seat belts must be worn at all times, and there is a bit of extra leg room for space. We will know the exact company that are taking us a little bit later, and again, we'll update you of that closer to the time. So, the exciting part, where will we be skiing at Easter? We will be travelling to Italy. It's a resort just inside Italy, very close to the border of Austria. I believe we'll actually be driving and travelling through Austria to get there. There are 2 ski passes or 2 parts where we can ski with our lift pass, which is Gitzberg and Jottel, which is a really big resort, really family friendly. It's nice and high. It's 2,500 meters high, about 50 kilometers of piste there to ski on. Lots of runs for beginners, intermediate and advanced. It's got different types of lifts, so 7 gondolas that take you quite high and chair lifts to get you up to the runs that you want to go on. And it's a really nice resort. And the other place is South Tyrol, so again another mountain range very close, where we will be skiing throughout that week. If students want to see a bit more and get a bit more excited, please go onto Instagram and start to follow Gitzberg and Jottel. You'll see that lots of pictures every single day of people skiing on those mountain ranges. I've started following it and it's getting me very excited. Lots of snow there at the moment, and lots, hopefully more to come between now and Easter. So where will we be staying when we are skiing? We are staying in the, I think I can pronounce it right, Steigerhof accommodation, which is just 11 kilometres from where we'll be skiing each day. So we'll still get our coach to the gondolas in the morning to get up the mountain. This hotel is very simple. It's what we normally have most years on the ski trip, and we have the whole hotel to ourselves. So we'll be the only people there. There are no members of the public. There are no other schools. We take over the whole accommodation. As you can see there, the bottom left-hand corner is a similar style bedroom to what students will have. Bedrooms are between, I believe, 2 and 6, and we'll have the rooming through quite soon, so we'll sort that out before we go. On the bottom right-hand corner, there's the restaurant area where students will have their breakfast and evening dinner. There is a games room with a pool table and table football. There is Wi-Fi, for a very important question. So students will be able to get on Wi-Fi while they are there. And it will be in a very rural location, so there's not much there. We'll take some sports equipment. Hopefully there'll still be snow around the hotel when we're there as well, so students will be able to sort of wander out just locally within the village as well. So the food, essentially, when we meet at Saturday at 12 o'clock, the first meal that students will get will be at the hotel on the Sunday around about lunchtime. We will take with us some food for breakfast. So we ask students to bring with them some food and snacks for Saturday evening. And we will be stopping so they can buy food at service stations if they want to. We'll stop at a service station in the morning as well. And we'll provide some croissants and some cereal bars and some fruit and some cartons of juice as well that morning. And then the first main meal we have will be Sunday lunchtime. Normally when we get there on the Sunday, we go and pick up our equipment. So we do a ski fit, try on our boots, try on our skis, and bring that all back to the hotel. We will have a chat about the local surroundings within the hotel. It'll be quite a chilled out night, preparing us for our first big day of skiing on the Monday. And we do ask students therefore to bring food with them for the Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Please do not bring nuts. We have a student with a nut allergy, so please don't bring any nuts for the coach journey on the way there. Every single day when students wake up, we'll wake them up with some nice loud music, and there's a buffet in the morning for breakfast. So it's normally cereals, toast, hams, cheeses, salamis, teas and coffees, for students to eat lots if they can, because you will burn a lot of calories doing skiing throughout the day. So that's important. We'll have a big breakfast. We'll also then make a lunch pack up that we'll take with us. So again, they leave out sandwiches and cereal bars and fruit that we'll take onto the mountain with us, stay up there for the day, and then we come back to a 3-course evening meal each evening, which is really good. On the way home, our last meal is the Friday night. So we'll ski for 5 hours on the Friday. We'll come back Friday evening, have a nice shower, get our final bits together, have dinner, and then depart for the way home after dinner. So again, I think it says a little bit later in the presentation to have a little bit of money left over for some breakfast on the way home for the day after, for the travel on the way home. So we always travel through a company. Often we travel with different companies to make sure we get the best price for the students and their parents who are paying to go on the trip. This year we're going with Ski Team 4. They've been really, really good so far, organising and helping support us with the ski trip. If you want to find out more about Ski Team 4, the link is just there, so please click on it and have a look at their website. It's really key that they're still part of the school travel forum, which means that they meet all the health and safety regulations and are audited regularly to make sure it's safe and it's well functioning and it's approved by the local educational authority as well. They also have full insurance with them for this ski trip, so we will use their insurance, and they are APTA required. So in terms of if there is a big issue before we go and we can't travel, then our money is secured and saved. There is also, I'm hoping very much not, but there is also a COVID guarantee just in case we can't go due to COVID. So the reason we are all going is skiing. Really, really exciting. We're taking lots of beginners, but we've also got some students that have been on a ski trip before, and we've got some more advanced skiers as well, which is great. We'll be skiing a lot. So we are skiing Monday to Friday for 5 hours a day. We will have 4 or 5 groups depending on the ability of our students when we get there, and those groups will sometimes be fluid, so they'll move around depending on where students' ability is throughout the week, to make sure that they ski at the best of their ability and are always being challenged and pushed, but in a safe way. It must be noted that the teachers aren't instructors, so we will be there supporting, watching, skiing with the students, laughing at them when they fall over, helping them up when they fall over as well, of course. But it's the instructors that will be teaching them to ski and leading them on this trip on skiing. It's 5 hours a day. And it's always supervised. So students aren't allowed to go off and ski by themselves or in friendship groups. They must always be skiing with an instructor, and pretty much in every group there'll always be a teacher there as well. All the ski instructors speak English. They're all fully qualified, and as I said before, we will move students from group to group to push them and challenge them throughout the week to make sure that they are in the right group and skiing at the right ability. Hopefully by the end of the week we'll have 40 really confident and competent skiers that have all improved. So on to what we need to bring. To start with is a luggage. So one big piece of luggage per Student, please. You don't need 3 or 4 suitcases. You're only going for a week. The coach company usually asks for a soft holdall style bag, preferred to a hard suitcase. So if you do have a soft holdall bag, please use that instead. If you don't worry, use a suitcase. But that the aim would be, as the more soft holdall bags, the better. The more space we have underneath the coach. A few hints really. Your ski jacket that you'll be wearing, I'll talk about more about the equipment in a second, but you might as well wear that on the coach with you. Salopettes, you can often stuff those, they're the ski trousers, into a pillowcase and use them on board if you're struggling for space in your luggage. Ski socks, it might be the case that on the way to the hotel we stop and do our ski fit, so we try everything on, try our boots on. So we often say to students as well, please keep a pair of ski socks in your bag, your luggage bag that you're going to take on the coach with you, to pop them on just in case we do that before we get back to the hotel and get our luggage from underneath the coach. So ski equipment is not needed to be bought by students to go there. We will be provided with skis, the boots, the poles, helmets that I'll talk about a little bit more in a moment. So everything like that is covered, and we'll have it there. But students will need to bring the following, or have the following with them: a ski jacket. That's a proper ski jacket. It should have really a place where their ski lift pass can go on their left arm or somewhere down their left hand side, so it scans as they go onto ski lifts. Ski trousers, proper trousers, not tracksuit bottoms, very, very important. They have proper skiing trousers. It will rain, it will snow, they fall over, they're going to get wet, so they need to make sure they've got proper ski trousers on. Goggles are a must. It gets very sunny, so wearing goggles most of the time is likely when we're skiing. Gloves, ski gloves, proper ski gloves are very important. Again, they're a bit thicker, they're waterproof, and they're important. They're wearing proper gloves. Ski socks to keep our feet nice and comfy in our ski boots. So not a football sock, a proper ski sock. You don't need 5 pairs of socks. You're only going to wear them for 5 hours a day. But a proper ski sock, so a couple of pairs of them. Sun cream is going to be really important. People don't understand how actually sunburnt students can get when they are skiing. We often get some quite red faces, so we are wearing sun cream every single day when we're skiing. And then base layers. It's normally quite warm at Easter, surprisingly, so students will be wearing their ski jacket and often just a t-shirt underneath them, or a thermal underneath that, so a sort of an Under Armour. But that is plenty really. When what they're wearing underneath their ski jacket, really just an old t-shirt, a nice t-shirt to wear, is absolutely fine. So students do not need to go and buy a helmet. If they already have a helmet that they've been skiing before, they can absolutely bring it, that's fine. Actually, that goes for everything. So students want to bring their own ski boots with them. If they've got ski boots, they can, but please don't go out there and buy them. That is a very expensive kit. Helmets will be provided when we get there, and they're compulsory for all students at all times. So probably a long time ago when we first went skiing, there weren't many people wearing helmets on ski slopes. Now everybody is, and it is permitted at all times to be wearing a helmet when we are skiing. So other things to make sure you pack is evening wear, so some jeans, some joggers, some comfy clothes for the evening at brace ski activities. You don't need a specific coat because you're going to have your ski jacket, but you might want, a couple of hoodies to take with you and things like that to keep nice and warm when we do leave the hotel in the evening. And a rucksack, that's really important. Students are going to need their food on them in the day, a drinks bottle, they're going to keep their phone in there, they might keep a little bit of money in there. So a backpack is needed, definitely not a handbag or an over-the-shoulder bag. It's got to be a backpack, a rucksack that they're going to be able to ski with. So in one of the meetings we've already had with the students, we had a bit of a vote to decide what we were going to do in the evening. So après ski activities will happen usually after dinner each night of the week. So we'll go skiing, we'll come back, we'll have some nice chill out time. Some people will have a nap, some people will chill out in the room downstairs with pool and table football. And then we'll have dinner all together, and then we'll go and do some après ski activities in the evening. So students have selected swimming. If you can see there, swimming, the swimming pool that we're going to is got slides. It's got different types of pools. It's got a proper swimming pool as well. It's got a sauna. So there'll be that one evening. Bowling. We're going to go bowling. So Austrian styles bowling. So it's kind of wooden pin balls and things like that. So a little bit different. And we also, rather than having a meal in one night, we'll be going to a local restaurant to have a pizza night. So we'll have a proper evening restaurant meal out as a team one evening that week as well. Another night will be a more of a chilled out night, so we'll put a film on and have a film evening. And Mr. Hart is going to run his world famous quiz that he does every year. And it is always the favourite activity of every single student, and I'm sure it will be again this year. So it is really important that we are a team when we go skiing, helping each other out. There's going to be a lot of falling over, there's going to be a lot of resilience needed, and it's going to be great fun. So we have some awards each day. Skier of the day, it might be for the person that's made the most progress, the person that's just nailed their snow plough turns or just done their first proper slope, or it might be someone that's doing really, really well and pushed on to do some black runs that week and challenge themselves. And we'll present them every single day and make a big deal out of that. Deed of the day, we want students helping out each other, picking each other up, supporting each other all over the trip, not just on the slopes as well. So we're looking out for students doing great deeds, and of course some other funny awards each day, the stack of the day, the funny moments of each day. It's really important that we reflect and enjoy the whole ski trip as well. And as part of that, I guess we also make sure every single meal, breakfast and dinner in the evenings, no phones. We want students speaking to each other, socialising with each other and talking about their skiing that day. So a common question is, how much money do I need to bring on the trip? How much spending money? All the après ski activities are covered. Everything linked to skiing is covered. So you really don't need to bring that much. Some students will want to buy some food on the mountain. Absolutely fine if they want to go and use a restaurant. It's roughly €5 or €6 for a plate of chips. If you want a burger or chips, you're looking at about €15, hot chocolates, things like that. But you don't need to do that at all, because you're going to be provided with a pack-up lunch. So, you might want to do that on the odd day, but you really don't need to do that. We will stop off at shops now and again, so some big supermarkets, and students might want to pick up some sweets or some food that they want to keep in their rooms in the hotel. Again, absolutely fine. Or buy some souvenirs to bring them home for their families, which is a lovely thing to do. So bringing a few euros is a good idea. I'd say 50, €60 is a good idea. Some will bring a bit more, but it's entirely up to you. And again, most places now you can use card, so you don't need to have cash directly. You can use your card or use your Apple Pay or your Google Pay on your phones. That pretty much works anywhere now on the slopes. Please save a few euros for the way home. The breakfast on the Saturday morning, we will be stopping somewhere, so it'll be good to be able to buy something from that service station to eat that day as well. So I'm sure some students will bring iPads and Nintendo Switches or phones and so on the trip. That's absolutely fine, but make sure all valuables and phones are taken at the student's risk. You may well have private or personal insurance for that, but that's not covered in the insurance in terms of the trip itself. Students don't need phones on the slopes. I totally understand if they're going to bring them and take pictures when they're going up in a gondola and when they're right at the top of the slope before they go. Absolutely. Staff will take lots of photos as well, and we can share those, and we'll be sharing them on social media throughout the week as well. We will give every student and a parent actually a Sawtry VA ski trip contact detail card. So if students ever find themselves on their own without a phone, there are numbers on there that they can get hold of to contact the hotel and to contact me and Mr. Hart when we're on the trip. That is an old one there, so that's an old address, so please don't use those numbers. There'll be new numbers and new addresses for this trip. So, safety of students and staff is really important on the ski trip. It is an extreme sport. There is likelihood of injury, but we can massively prevent injuries and minimise them by making sure we are listening carefully, we are doing exactly what the instructor is saying, and we are behaving well. We are, of course, being and representing Sawtry Village Academy, and I am sure the students will be fantastically well behaved and will have an excellent week. Staff are giving up a week without their families to support and get students to learn how to ski. They're not going to be skiing there that much at their own ability. So again, it's really important that our staff enjoy their week with students, and we don't want to be speaking to students about poor behaviour on the trip, and I'm sure we won't have to either. This has never happened before, but if any student does compromise the safety of other students and cannot follow instruction, potentially they may lose their place on the trip or may well be sent home on the trip. Parents are expected to meet any cost of sending students home. Again, on the 10-11 trips that I've run, this has never happened, and I'm sure it won't have to again this time either. So after you have watched this video, what you are going to do is click on a link in the email that I send. It's a Microsoft form. Click on that and you're going to vote for your favourite colour hoodie. So blue or red, they are the two types of hoodie colour that we can go for this time. I believe it will have like Sawtry Village Academy on that hoodie when we go on the trip. And the most votes wins, so we'll all go in the same colour. We are a team at the end of the day. It also asks for your size, so small, medium, large, extra large. What size hoodie would you like as well? And we will get them ordered over the next week or so. So what is next? This is really important. We all have a few other meetings between now and the time we leave, and I'll remind you of these as we go along. I'm going to be showing you a bit of this video in the next meeting we have. But the next and most important thing is that you bring your passport and your GHIC card with you into school and your completed consent form, which must be filled in, and you're going to bring that to Mrs. Ford in finance in the next 2 weeks, please. We want them in the next 2 weeks because the company that we're going with want to see all the passport numbers and details, so therefore we can fill in all that and send that off to them. We will store them and keep them in a safe here, so once they go into the finance room they will stay there and they will be safe. Please, when you are bringing your passports and your documents into school, the first thing you do when you get into school is take it to the finance hatch and give them to Mrs. Ford. Don't carry them around for the day and hand them in at the end of the day, just in case you lose your passport somewhere. So as soon as you get any, hand them there in the next 2 weeks. If for whatever reason you are going abroad before then and you need your passport and your GHIC card, absolutely fine, you keep hold of it, but you'll need to send in details of your passport number, its expiry date, so we can log them and send them off to the company. Final letter will come about 10 days before the trip, a week, 2 weeks before the trip, which will have the exact time of meeting on that Saturday, the approximate time we will get home, and any final details, including phone number, contact details that you'll need while we're on the trip. We'll have a few more meetings, handing out hoodies, sorting out rooms, and doing some fitness tests. I do joke, but doing 5 hours of skiing a day is hard. It is physically tiring. So please make sure that we are trying to get a little bit of fitness in, doing some ski squats and some other bits between now and then. That will really help when you are on the trip. Final payment, I think, is already due, and I think everyone has paid, so that is absolutely fine. Okay, thank you very much for listening to the presentation. That's quite long, but I wanted to make sure you've got all the information you can. If you've missed something, please go and re-watch it. But if you do have any questions about the presentation or something totally different that links directly to your child, please don't hesitate to give me an email, ayeomans@salttree.va.org, and I'll do my best to answer it. And we can organise a meeting, or I can do a phone call. I'll just email you back any answers that I have. If I don't see you or don't speak to you between now and then, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday the 30th before the students board on the coach, and we go off and have a fantastic, once in a lifetime, I would say, trip. So thank you very much, and have a lovely rest of your evening.